We had two of these front bolts snap on us. So we got some pretty bad damage. And on that side.
I mean, you can see just how awful this piston is.
All right, you ready? All right, guys, so today, on today's agenda, we're working on a 2007 400 TRX. And we believe that the piston and the cylinder are pretty worn out. And what we're going to do today is replace the whole cylinder wall, piston, cam, piston rings, and go through on the valve timing and valve lash. And hopefully she starts up and runs.
Alright, so it took about not even 15 minutes to get us to this state. You know, how easy was it to get this thing torn down?
Super easy. I mean, it's basically as much as you get the plastics off, the intake and the carburetor, I mean, you're basically down to it. But for right now, we had two major issues. We had two of these front bolts snap on us, and it was just because they were heated and cooled because of the exhaust being right next to them. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to heat those up with a torch when we go back in assembly, and we're going to be able to try to get those out with vice grips or something like that, but just basically just heating it to get those out easier. And hopefully we'll run up to Tractor Supply, find the same style thread and everything, and be able to put those in. But for right now, we're going to act like that's not doing a thing. We're going to move on to where we have to just take those head bolts off to get the head out of there, and then we're down to the cylinder. And then that's where it means real business right there. Thank you. And so these are your sight glasses into the motor. So we're going to take these two off. This is how you're going to be able to turn the crank over. I'll get this out so you can see. Don't forget that O-ring. And as you can see in there, it's about a 15 to 18 inch or millimeter bolt, and that's how you're going to be able to turn the flywheel over
To get to top dead center.
All right, so that's top dead. And if you want to show them down in the sight glass, you're seeing there's a little tiny T in there that'll be able to show you exactly where top dead is. And there's an F in front of it, and that's forward timing, and you don't want to set it to the F. You want to be able to set it to the T, and right in between on that little tiny notch here, you'll see you got to make sure that notch lines right up with that T. And so now what we're going to want to do is, before we take this timing chain and the cam out, we're going to want to take out the tensioner. And the tensioner, to get to it, we have to take this little bracket off of here, this back of the starter here, and get to these two 8mm bolts and be able to just take that completely out. And that'll be able to loosen our chain up. So then when we break this little Allen head off, we'll be able to take the cam and the timing chain off in one easy go. And this is her with the gasket. And as you can see, you got this big Phillips here, and that's what adjusts your tension on your chain itself. But that's where I didn't loosen that or mess with anything, because I'm not replacing the chain itself. So I want it to go back to the same adjustment on what it was before. Oh.
it's always good to have a friend helping you out.
Yeah, exactly. Always great to have a second set of hands.
Right now we're just holding the tiny little piece of wire to the sprocket, so when we pull the head straight up,
It doesn't drop into the bottom of the motor.
yeah.
We don't lose her forever. At this point, you basically just want to go through and just check everything you can, because especially here on the bottom, you'll see that you got your valves, and basically you want to make sure that they're all seating, that there wasn't any contact between the piston and the valves, or just anything just out of the usual or tore up. And I know they don't look great, but they're better than what I was expecting. So we're gonna hopefully just put these back on, and hopefully they do their job perfect. But basically just gonna go through and just clean up and make sure this is all right, pull the rest of the cylinder off. And as you guys saw, we're already to the top where piston's at top dead. And now we just gotta pull these 4 out. And then there's 2 8mm on this side, right here. And after you get those pulled off, this whole head will come, or the whole cylinder wall will come right out. And we're gonna slide this timing chain with the sprocket straight through there, and we'll get her out. All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm. I just got the cylinder wall out. Let's Tate said he found something pretty interesting.
So we got some pretty bad damage in on that side. I don't know if you guys could see it or not in the camera, but it's a big buildup of metal. It's not gouged in, but it's definitely worn and just not usable anymore. Especially when we compare it to our brand new one that's perfect all the way through. Oh yeah. Look at the scoring on that piston. She was toast. There's no rings anymore and anything. Now what the game plan is we're going to take rags and towels and we're going to stuff them all throughout the motor to make sure we don't drop any of those pins or small clips or anything. And there's 2 clips on either side. And what we're going to be able to do is we're going to stick a pick in there and be able to pull that clip out and push this piston rod out one side. And then that piston head will be able to come off, and then we'll be able to replace it with a new one after we get our rings set, and we'll be able to go from there. We finally got it out.
This piston sleeve was so worn in there. It's unreal. I mean, you can see just how awful this piston is. This thing is just in such rough shape. So it was, you know, it was no surprise it was gonna be, you know, difficult, but this was just absurdly difficult to get out. But
She's out.
yeah,
That's
it's
all that
out.
matters. It's
That's
all
all
that
I mean.
matters.
This
She's
has
out.
been holding us up for hours. You know, we went inside, we took 2 breaks trying to get this out, you know, eating pizza, looking on YouTube, trying to find stuff out. But the only thing you can really do is just beat this thing out with a socket and an extension until it comes out. You know, just, you know, that's the only thing you can do, because the only other option would be taking apart the whole block and getting a new connecting rod and all that. And we just weren't trying to do that really, right?
No, absolutely not. And the socket size, I used a deep 1/2 inch socket with a long 6-inch extension, and I mean, it worked out perfect.
Alright, so we got her running. What's left to do on it?
We gotta adjust the throttle. We have to hook up the intake system permanently. And that's about it.
Yeah, it was revving like that because the throttle was too tight. So we gotta go in there and loosen that up. But it idles fine. All the oil is burned out of it. So just got to throw it together and adjust everything.
What you doing now, Tate?
I got it running.
You got it running?
It's rebuilt and running, man.
Amen, brother.
Might as well go ahead and take the tires off that other bike.
I'm gonna go see how this thing does. Oh my god. What the hell?
So, I mean, my phone died, but I mean, she runs, right?
Yep, she runs great, and the only issue is I got to take the head back off, and I got to get those two bolts taken back out where the bolts that snapped. I got to try to weld a nut over top of them and then back them out slowly after I torch them, and hopefully I can get those threads out and be able to get that head back in and totally finished, because we do have some leaks and it's leaking on the exhaust and we can't have that. So for a whole day video of just rebuilding it and getting it all back together and running again, I mean, it worked out perfect. So I can't have any complaints or say anything went wrong really or anything like that. So I just appreciate you guys watching the videos and just check out more.
I mean, you want to mention anything like coming up?
We have a crazy video that we're thinking is going to come up in the near future. We don't know for sure when it's going to come up, but we have something planned that's going to be insane, guys. So
You want to any teasers about?
I don't think we should yet. We gotta get more into it, and I think that's the best part. So
Yeah, it's gonna be
cool, guys. It's gonna be really cool.
It'll be a really fun build. So yeah, if you want to keep up with all our builds, we're Cummins will work on eventually once we get some metal in here to work on the motor mounts. We got this thing.
That's gonna be this week or next. We get those parts in for the Cummins, so the videos will start going back on the Cummins too. And basically,
then,
we just have to switch back and forth because we're waiting on parts right now, especially with what's going on.
Yeah, so we got the TRX that we're actually doing a little more work to. We got another TRX that we'll be doing work to. We got the Cummins that we're going to be finishing up. We got the shop. We got the slab going down.
Yep.
And we got that other special build coming up within the next couple weeks. So we got a lot planned.
All of it.
Yeah, so yeah, just subscribe to keep up with all the stuff we got going on because it's going to be freaking sweet. So we'll catch you guys on the next video, and yeah, we'll see you later.
Sweet. Oh, Jesus. Oh,
I like the key.
oh yeah.
Nah, Reed, play with them wires.
Put a little bit of gas into it.
Wait, hold on, stop. I just nicked the spark.
Oh my God. Trickster.
Sorry, I couldn't
It's all
get to
good.
the f***ing valve.
All right. Well, that's her, man.
Alright, let's get the throttle hooked up and put this thing back together, huh?
Hi.
Oh, yeah. Get the ripping.
It's like that brick video. Can you go get me some zip ties, please?
Yo, don't you need to screw down the gas tank first?
Oh no, we don't have those.
What?
I don't have those.
Didn't come with
Okay,
it.
sounds good. Don't mind me. I haven't seen this much production in a long time.
Out of this group right here.
In a long time. Like the fact that the other week you were doing the Cummins swap, and then like
We did the
forward
pontoon boat, the
rebuilds,
Cummins, this.
and then rebuilds. Like,
I appreciate you, Travis.
I don't want your seat flying the off when you stand up.
Yeah.
Should really not cuss when grandma's around, huh?